I'm just going to take my mum out. She's come down with us. Excited! And she has never been in the drift car with me. I've only given like a little lift before in this car. So I think she's going to be in for a surprise. So anyway, ready to go?
Woo, yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's go out on track. How'd you find that bit?
Oh, that was awesome. Awesome. Really, really good. Can't wait to go again. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going out again because, as you can see, my tyres are, they're very bold.
It was smoking.
It's smoking everywhere. They felt really slippy actually because we had 50 psi in, but they were semi-slick, so it was a bit of a weird feeling. But anyway, excited to go out next one?
Oh, yeah.
Right, let's go, guys.
Hello everyone, welcome back, and this has been absolutely amazing getting to do this. So yeah, if you guys don't know what we're doing, basically, me and Rob from Everything Drift are going to drift on the simulator for 12 hours. I seriously cannot wait to do this. Thank you to everyone who's joined. And we're all doing this for Cancer Research UK, and there's a Just Giving link underneath this video in the description where you guys can donate. And yeah, please do donate, it really helps. And yeah, it's going to be super fun.
Hello everyone.
Hi Dean.
Hi. So I've just had a phone call from EBC Brakes, and they're quite keen for Max to get his head shaven. So they've come to us with an offer because they're such an amazingly cool company. We are honestly unbelievably proud to be sponsored by EBC Brakes. Those guys are absolutely amazing. And they have just said that if we can get the total amount raised to 4,500, they will donate another £500 so that Max can have his little head shaved.
I love EBC.
They are absolutely amazing. Honestly, those guys are so cool. So I'll pass Max back and he can let you know what he thinks about that.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, EBC, so-called friends. Yeah. All right, then. I mean, obviously, all the money's going to a good cause, so I'm happy, and I'm also very annoyed.
So that only makes it £300 away. Right, let's get some shares around on this stream.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Donate if you haven't already, and help us raise that £300, and then we can, you know, that will all of a sudden bump it up to £5,000, and Max can get his head shaved and look like an egghead. His sister can print us some Team Egghead 2020 t-shirts, and it'll be brilliant. Buxton will be a fun round.
Yeah, I'm not sure about EBC for next year now. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, all the money's going to a good cause, so I'm quite happy to shave my head. But also it's something I really don't want to do. So there's two sides to it. Oh dear. Thanks, Rob, for saying that.
Hello.
Ah, there we go.
Awesome. So let's start off. Can you just introduce yourself to everyone watching?
Am I live?
You are.
Yep.
Hello, Max. How are you? It's Eddie Power here from my Irish Drift Series,
Very good.
Power in the Tower. How are you getting on?
Yeah, we're getting on super good. I think we're nearly halfway through the stream, and things are going well. We've raised about £3,500 for cancer research.
Looking online. That's incredible.
So yeah, if you introduce yourself to everyone, say what you've been doing, especially this year. Got some cool things up and running. But yeah.
Well, hi guys. Yeah, Eddie Power here from the Irish Drift Series, and this year, well, it was my maiden year to run the championship in Ireland, and as everybody knows, unfortunately, we've had a little bit of a step back. You know what? We delivered one event, and it looks as though we may not be able to deliver any more this year, but we will look towards 2021 and see what happens. Obviously, hopefully things will be a bit brighter. But it was great to have you over in Ireland, Max. I know it was a dream come true for you to compete in Mondello Park.
Yeah, definitely.
And, to take second step on the podium was a bit of a big deal as well, with a grid with James Deane on it.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing event. Like literally, definitely up with the highlights of this year. It's just absolutely awesome. I've got to say the event ran really, really well. So massive well done to you for that. I mean, it was really, really cool.
Well, thank you very much. What I do want, though, is to get you back over to Ireland at some point and have you come in over the hill on the main Jack Vest layout. I think that would be a proper dream come true for you. It'd be great to see how you'd handle that track.
Yeah,
Obviously,
definitely.
The back paddock is something that was very new to everybody, and it's quite different to the main track that we normally use.
Yeah, I did manage to do that track on the practice day, and I enjoyed it so much. Like coming over that crest and just giving it a massive clutch kick and getting all the angle on in like 4th gear is just insane. But yeah, definitely doing that on a competition on someone else's door. I can't imagine how scared I'm going to be, but I'm still going to try and throw it onto people's doors. Obviously this year's not been ideal, but it's going to be cool next year, I can tell.
How did you find the track actually when you drove it on the practice day? How did you find it much different to what you would have expected from maybe driving it online or watching it on any of the live streams from competitions?
Yeah, I mean, I think watching it online and in the simulator, it's a bit more flat. Like that is a proper like massive bit of elevation change there, and you can't see that exactly on the live stream or in a sim. But that elevation change just feels so amazing. I think elevation change is one of the best feelings in drifting. Like going over that crest at a stupid speed and just hoping you don't go flying onto the grass it's just amazing. And we kind of miss that in the UK a little bit with some of the tracks we have. We don't have a massive amount of elevation change. But yeah, Mondello Park is such a good location.
And as well, I think when you watch it online, it actually looks like there's a lot more runoff that you have when you come over that crest, but you run out of track quite quickly, don't you?
Yeah, it can literally disappear like carpet under someone's feet. It just completely goes, oh, by the way, there's grass here. It's like, oh no. But yeah, I absolutely love that track and really want to drive it very soon.
Yeah, well, hopefully you won't have to wait too long. It would be great to have that on our list of tracks that we're going to run for 2021.
Yeah,
your plan is obviously to come back over if we're back up and running for drifting in 2021.
Yep, definitely. I mean, there's so much going on this year. It's been very difficult, and I know obviously, like you've done everything you can to get this event running, and I think everyone really respects that. And yeah, you should definitely get a lot more praise because we can see how everything going on behind the scenes and how much effort it is to put on an event. It's not just a case of, yeah, we'll get some live stream people and we'll do an event. It's a lot more than that, and you can see that. So a massive well done.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's been a difficult year. It's been a difficult year for everybody. So I think when you sit back and look at it, drifting is the hardest part for me really of the whole thing was that I know how much drifting means to everybody, and it's that one little bit of release, that little bit of normality that everybody was looking forward to, and to not be able to deliver on it was quite sad. But we did everything that we could, and unfortunately, it's a case of there's a lot of people that are in much worse off positions than we are, that we didn't get to shred in our cars for a few more rounds this year. But you still have the final round of the British Drift Championship to look forward to as well.
Yeah, that's fortunately it's actually 40 minutes away, so it's not quite the drive and ferry over to Ireland. But yeah, that's going to be super cool. It's at Buxton, and that's going to be super fun. I'm hoping I can take the Pro-Am Championship, but we'll see what happens. Obviously it's drifting, you never know what's going to go down.
What way does it need to fall for you to take the championship? I haven't checked the standings.
I think that I need to qualify, and maybe then I'll be safe, but obviously I'm not going to settle for that.
11 points in the lead over Dylan Keogh.
Yeah.
So I think if you both made it to top 8, I think you get the championship. I think.
Okay, so
yeah,
it's quite close. That does make it interesting, and obviously we saw how, particularly in some of the, well, you know what, it can happen in any championship, but we saw it in the Drift Games National Championship last year, how tight it became, and it does often throw up the final round a few surprises. So you'll be tuning in and keeping a close eye on your Max. I no doubt you'll be able to hold your nerve, and you should be able to take it home. But
Yeah.
Not without some stiff competition, I would imagine.
Yeah, I definitely love the crossover between the Irish and the British driver. It just adds a little bit more of like a competitive vibe. Like, obviously going over to Ireland, I think I was the only British driver there, and it's literally like you can see like there's people going like, oh yeah, come on, Max, do it for the UK, and then when the Irish drivers come over, do it for Ireland. It's really cool to see the crossover, and it adds a bit more of competitiveness, which always is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's almost a pity that more drivers don't do it, because I mean, there's always every year there's a crossover between both championships, and you'll get a couple of guys going either way. But I don't think we see as many guys from the UK come over as through the years. We've obviously had the big names come over, and obviously yourself joining this year is fantastic. But it'd be great to see a few more drivers from the UK come over and challenge our Irish guys, because obviously I know there is an expense, but it's not really that far away, and it can be done.
Yeah, and
I would love to see something like a round at Anglesey that's like a super series of both championships, and then the following weekend another round at Mondello of the same super series, to kind of get people to do both. That would
definitely
be awesome.
Yeah, I think
I think it's easier for anybody from Ireland in that situation, because you can get to Anglesey quite quickly or quite easily, and
Yeah.
you're never more than a 2-3 hour drive from a port when you're in Ireland. Whereas if you're in the UK, it's a slightly different story. So
Yeah, I mean, Anglesey for me is 4.5 hours.
yeah, so it's probably quicker for Irish guys to get there.
Yeah, I really like the whole experience of setting off at 10 p.m. and sleeping on the ferry. I just think it adds some coolness to it. I can't really explain it, but it makes it feel like proper racing, which it is. It just adds a little bit, which is really cool, and obviously makes a cool video as well, which is always nice.
Yeah, and there are definitely moments that you'll be able to look back on, and you'll always remember those, those early starts and getting on the ferry with your dad, and you'll have those moments to look back on forever. And it's, as you say, it does feel like you're almost celebrity status if you're making those trips, and it's just a new element. It's something a little bit different. I always find anytime I went over to watch the BBC or go over to commentate over there, it's a different. There's a different feel to the events, because you are kind of making a commitment. You're going to be going on a flight to get there, and you really are taking up your whole weekend just to have that event. So it'd be nice to get back over to the BDC at some point to maybe commentate, or even just to watch and sit in the crowd, because it's something that we don't get to do very often. Just sit back and watch it all.
Yeah, hopefully for next year. I mean, obviously there is a whole virus going on right now, but hopefully for next year we'll have the freedom to travel and have some really cool events go on and drive against loads of different drivers, and it's just a really cool experience, as I said, going over, and I don't know what it is, but it just makes everything feel so cool, like you're traveling abroad to go and drive your car. It just feels so cool.
Well, with a bit of luck, Max, it won't be too long before you're competing in the European Championship, and then you might have a good number of countries to visit on a yearly basis.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there is some things in the works now that I can't say too much about, apart from I can say that next year we will be going to Germany to do the Iron Drift King.
Oh, brilliant.
But yes, travelling abroad to go drifting is just so cool.
And when
I don't even drive.
Right in saying that you... Sorry, say again?
I love travelling for drifting, and I don't even get to drive a drift car. I just photograph.
There you go. I was going to say, Max... it's gone from my head now. Brilliant, but gone. What I was going to say, I'm right in saying you've got you got a drive in BDC this year that you wouldn't have normally had the opportunity to take. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, unfortunately, Drift Cup got cancelled. But Matt Stevenson said, you know what, there's a few drivers down, so if you want, you can apply and we'll look at different things, and yeah, maybe get into the championship. So me and my dad thought, we probably won't get it, but we'll put an application in and just see what's what. And yeah, I got in, which was super good. I mean, the plan was anyway to try and win the first round of Drift Cup and get straight through, but obviously it's not guaranteed. but yeah, it was very cool that I got the opportunity. So in that way, the virus actually helped me a bit.
Yeah, it's helped out. You've had the opportunity. I know you would have liked a few more rounds maybe over in Ireland, but you've really had an opportunity to make a name for yourself, which is really great. And even in times of global pandemic, there are these opportunities that do arise for people, and it's great that you didn't have to. You kind of, I suppose, jumped ahead in your career a little bit as a result.
Yeah, definitely.
And got to show what you're capable of on the big stage, which is fantastic.
Yeah, with building a new car this year as well, it was really good to be able to, like, on that practice day at Mondello, just really unleash the car, practice what it's like driving that car on road tyres and all round really. But yeah, bringing a new car into a season, I was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to be able to drive it, and it was going to be completely different, but got used to it, and yeah, managed to go into 2 championships and show what I'm made of.
So, a question for you: you're obviously drifting for 12 hours today. Is that something that's common enough for you when you're drifting, when you're sim racing? Would you regularly put in 12-hour shifts, or would you usually break it up a little bit throughout the day?
I'm never 12 hours drifting. I think the most I've done is maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, it's not. I'm not going full out intense competition driving. I'm pacing myself a bit, so I'm not too tired. My sister's bought me a McDonald's, which is always nice. So yeah, no, 12-hour drifting is not normally what I do, but the sim definitely helps with the practice, and I absolutely love that we've got Mondello on the sim, and I think we will be running that later if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think that'll go in next. All the Drift Games Bash layouts.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
It's awesome to have the Irish tracks and also the briefing sort of thing on the simulator. I think that really opens up drivers' eyes to what they're going to be driving and where the car needs to be positioned on the track.
You should really try and get over for one of the Drift Games Bash days, or weekends rather, when they're back up and running.
Yeah, I've heard that they're absolutely amazing, and yeah, definitely next year, maybe late this year, we'll be able to see what we can do to get over to Ireland and drive the amazing track that's Mondello.
So Eddie, are we going to see a return of some of the kind of old traditional, I say traditional, but the kind of, Fermoy, places like that into the Irish Drift Series? Because I loved some of those old venues.
I would never rule it out, but yeah, I mean, some of those venues have become, I suppose, a little bit small for the power of the cars, and
Yeah.
I suppose getting to them and getting them set up, there's additional costs involved. So I suppose for 2021, we're kind of really just going to have to wait and see what happens with the pandemic. We're kind of holding back from planning anything.
Yeah, that does restrict in so many ways, doesn't it? Without the crowd and what is actually available to run, and what local restrictions allow you to even do, let alone who can attend.
Yeah, and I think one of the hardest things about this season was, planning and releasing a schedule of events and then having to cancel them and reschedule them, and just you feel like you're messing people around. So we kind of got to wait and see what's going to happen. Obviously, Ireland is now in in lockdown, although it doesn't really seem like it, and it's quite frustrating when you see certain sports can operate, but we couldn't, even though we had those safety plans and measures in place, and it should have been a safe event to run, but who knows what's going to happen in 2021. And when you look at it, we're kind of coming close to November now, and in 4 months' time it'll be you're looking at it being February, and who's to say what way the world is going to look in February or March, when we should really be getting ready to kick off a championship. So it's a difficult one. Not an ideal position to be in, but I suppose we have to just be patient and see what happens.
Yeah, it was like I had to cancel because of different restrictions and that. I had to cancel coming to Ireland with Max with like 2 days' notice. I think it was, Max, wasn't it? It wasn't much.
Yeah, it was not much at all.
We did an event like the prior weekend, and I was like, "Yep, great, I'll get everything booked. I'm coming with." And then come I think it was Wednesday night, and they were leaving Thursday. I was like, "No, I can't go." Restrictions changed, and that was that.
Yeah, and very frustrating, I would imagine, and I know for any of the drivers that were considering coming over from the UK, and the cost of ferries going up, and people are holding off booking. It's just it's a nightmare situation, and it's difficult from an organiser's point of view, obviously, if we go into 2021 and we try to organise the events, we'll probably need people to pay up in advance, and that's difficult for people if they're not certain as to what way their job security is for the year. So it's a difficult time, but drifting has always kind of found ways to survive, and that'll be the aim for us again. And obviously Matt has done a fantastic job with BDC this year, and he's managed to keep going. He's managed to have spectators at his events, so it can be done. It's just a matter of us finding the right way to go about doing it.
Yeah, it's great that there's someone like yourself that's taken on the reins. I know it wasn't, it wasn't predicted when you announced you were taking over, but it's great to see someone really putting in
I didn't
work
predict myself either, to be honest. But look, we couldn't see the championship die. It means too much to too many people. There's too much money invested in it. Guys have racing cars sitting under covers in their sheds there that are worth massive amounts of money, and if they don't have anywhere to go, well, that's a big problem for them. So we want to keep it alive, and obviously it's been a big part of my life. Drifting has done. Max speaks about those how it feels to make the trip across Ireland and to be at these events. And I've never got to drive at a competition, but to go to events and commentate is a pretty special feeling as well. And where else in life would you get an opportunity like that? And drifting has been very good to a lot of people that are involved in the community, and it's one of those sports that you can still make anything for yourself in the sport because it's so accessible. And I always say to people, if you want to be involved, just find something that you're in any way good at. If you want to take photographs, start up a podcast. There's so many ways that you can get involved and make a name for yourself in drifting that you might not have the opportunity to do in the likes of Formula 1, for example.
Yeah.
Like, I love travelling to events no matter where they are. I remember back in 2014, I asked a couple of the BDC photographers, because I was at the end of my first season, and I was like, what's it like going to Ireland? And everyone's like, I haven't really done it. And I was like, right. So I got on a night bus with Matt Bedworth. We got to Dublin, we got a taxi to the airport, picked up a hire car, drove down to Mondello, kipped in the car, and then I think David Garvey put us up in his hotel room one night. So we got to meet David and get to know him a bit, and we just completely winged it on doing this trip because we were like, we want to see what Irish drift is like. And since then, we've both been back. Matt's been back a lot more than me, but we've both been back as often as we can. And I'm the same with, I made friends in Ireland that I want to go back and see. I'm the same with events in France, Germany, Norway. It makes the world seem really small when you know people all over the place that you can just give a call and go, can I kip on your soda?
But that's it. It's like you can kind of wing it and just take the chance, and there's always a floor or a couch that can be kipped on, for the sake of a drift weekend. You'll always find somebody willing to help out and put you up for a night, which is a fantastic thing. And it does, as you say, it makes the world quite a small place. And one of the best memories I have is going over to Formula Drift, and again, you go there and you're seeing familiar faces. It may not get someone putting you up in a hotel room for an evening, but the community is still there, and you do start to see familiar faces. You just realise how small the community is, and it is fantastic. And I think that's why it needs to be protected, drifting, and it needs to be. We need dedicated people staying involved in the series and promoting the series so that we can keep them alive, because without it, I think a lot of us would be lost.
Yeah, that family aspect is something that I think lots of other sports might not have. But if you go to a drift event, and as I was saying before, if your competitor breaks their car, you go and help them, unless you mean you know nothing about cars. But you go and help the person you're going against because you want that battle and you want a show for the crowd, which is absolutely amazing, and you can feel it in the atmosphere when you're there.
There's a huge difference though, with drifting and traditional motorsports in the way they're run, isn't it? Traditional motorsports, you've got a governing body that helps keep things running, and we don't have that in drifting in a lot of ways, good reasons.
Yeah, and in 2020, it turned out to be a bad thing that we didn't have it, and I think if we had it, we could have kept going. But it is look, it's still a a relatively new sport. So
it does come down to a small but really dedicated number of people like yourself, Matt Stevenson, Sweeps, Mike Procura over in Europe with Drift Kings, formerly King of Europe, Ryan Sage and all that lot in FD. It comes down to a really small number of people worldwide to keep all these major championships running, and I think that's maybe not noticed as much as it should be.
No,
I definitely agree.
Right. I think you're absolutely right, and it is, it is the hard work of. Well, I don't think it's always just say the hard work of a small number of people. I think it's actually, quite a wider circle than that, and it might be a small number of people maybe get some of the bulk of the praise, but there's dedication from, obviously.
Oh yeah, you've all got teams behind you. It all comes down to a lot of the drivers, a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the media guys do a fantastic job, and they very rarely get the credit for it. A lot of the work that they do is unpaid, but without media, drifting would have never taken off, because there would have been no way of getting it out to the masses, and it's people giving up their weekend to come down and take photographs or make videos, and so that these guys who are driving or the event organisers can actually show off and showcase what it is that's going on. Without that,
I think often you've got a big IDC event, for example, an IDS now. There used to be, what's the capacity of Mondello if it's fully booked out? A couple of thousand?
Well, I think we've had over 10,000, 10 or 11,000.
Yeah.
So
you might have
a couple of times.
You might have 10,000 people watching live, and then you might have a couple of thousand on live stream. But the people that are involved in the series, keeping it running, drivers, media, crew, everything, is less than 10% of that.
Yeah.
For the whole of Ireland. It's a reasonably small number of people that kind of put everything on and get everything to this thing that is much bigger than itself. And it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always something that Dave Egan used to revert back to, and saying that we've kind of created a monster with drifting, and particularly in Ireland and the UK, where it's very small budget, but we put on a really, really professional show, and you forget that guys like myself, Dave, Ian, just not professionals when it comes to okay, right, we just see payment, so in some way it is a professional gig, the commentary that we put on, but no training, no experience in commentary before actually getting involved in drifting, and the same can be said for a lot of other people that are involved, and
yeah,
there's no special training. It's just kind of dedication, finding out what works, and essentially being brave enough to give things a go. And I think the same has happened with drivers and teams, as they've developed cars and builds over the years, where they're now building full-on race cars in just sheds out the back of their house, and it's crazy to think that what's being produced could rival the likes of Formula 1 in a show aspect.
For a tiny percentage of what it costs to run one car for a weekend in F1. The whole of a championship
a
of
very tiny percentage.
Yeah. It's like $2 million a weekend or something to run an F1 car. Well, it doesn't cost that to run a whole season of 120 drivers in BDC.
I think you could be looking at a few seasons of IDS and BDC to get up to that sort of money, but
if only someone would sponsor it.
It's not through the lack of trying, though. There's a lot of guys spending a lot of money to keep themselves on the grid, and look, and I think it's great to see someone like Max at such a young age realizing and how important it is to be sponsorable and to be good online and be good at interviews, and putting himself out there for something like this. I mean, this is a fantastic cause, and when you look at all the sponsorship names that are surrounding the screen here, it's a fantastic achievement, even without raising any money, just to even get to that point. So when you add in the money that's been raised on top, it's hats off to him for 15 years.
Thank you.
That is really incredible.
Thanks so much,
Well
Barrett.
done, guys, all the best. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Catch you later.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Yourself. Yeah.
My name is James Deane. How are you guys?
Very good.
That's
So
good. You're
people
having fun?
having loads of fun, very tired. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we may have a few non-drifters in here. And James Deane, I'm going to say, is the best in the world at drifting. That's my view.
Thank you very much, man. That means a lot. You're an absolute incredible talent yourself, and it's been absolutely unreal watching you progress over the last. Well, the first time I saw you was at Drift Cup last year, and you blew my mind. So yeah, I wasn't surprised with any of your results this year. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
It's a pleasure.
But yeah, Rob actually surprised me. I didn't even know that you were coming on. But yeah.
No,
So
it's all good. If I was at home, because I'm in London at the moment, I'm with Becky. But if I was back in Ireland, I'd join with the sim as well. But maybe another time for sure.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been wanting to battle you, and I still want to battle you. So hopefully we can make that happen very soon. I mean, unfortunately, we've lost the Irish Drift Series this year. But yeah, how's your year been in drifting this year? It's been a bit weird, hasn't it, for everyone?
Yeah, it's definitely been a strange year. So like we had huge plans. Like it was shaping up to be the busiest year so far, because we were doing drift shifters events. We did the championship in Oman in the Middle East. We were doing Formula Drift, and we were doing all of Drift Masters with Goodwood and things at the Nürburgring and a few extra things. So everything, it was looking almost too good to be true, because no dates were clashing. Everything was lined up nicely. All the cars were going to be used, and then pretty much overnight things changed very fast. So yeah, it's been a strange one. Like with Formula Drift as well, because Warthouse, the team I drive for, they're basically all based in Poland, so everyone's living in Europe. So with the travel plans and the travel problems with COVID, we basically had to drop out of FD, which was so like overnight everything was kind of just switched off, basically like light switches. Obviously they don't know what and when they're going to be going back, so we just made the decision to go our separate ways. And to be honest, I'm just looking forward to things getting back to normal and just getting back on track again.
Yeah, it has been very strange, but managed to drive in IDS, which is really good.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, like I've never been over to Ireland apart from one practice day, and you know, with more of the pro drivers, like obviously you there in the awesome RX-7 and Kevin Quinn.
I love that car.
Yeah, the RX-7, I watched a few people in practice, and I saw you come round. It was an absolute smoke show. Car always presented beautifully. It's just amazing.
Thank you very much. No, that's a really fun car. It's the first competition we've used that car in for a good few years. So
for Moy 2016, wasn't it? Before that,
Was there drift shifters as well? I think.
Drift shifters, yeah. But like it was, it's just been kind of sitting there. So it was nice to bring it back and just have some fun. So I was looking forward to doing the other rounds of the IDS, but it's just been obviously very challenging, and all the IDS crew, how hard they try to keep everything on the show on the road, but it just wasn't meant to be this year. But yeah, just bring on 2021, I think, and hopefully we can all do a lot more events again.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw you last weekend at Goodwood.
Yeah.
And how did you find that event? With obviously you've done Festival of Speed for a few years, huge crowds, like 50,000 people a day, to maybe 2,000 people on site just to run the event.
Yeah, so there's pros and cons to it. I think the good thing that I really enjoyed was that we had a bit more time, and we really got to walk around, and literally you can pull yourself underneath an F1 car and look at everything and touch everything. You know what I mean? You could get really close access to some. It's just hard to believe. Your favorite race cars of all time are just sitting there right in front of you, and you just get to just take it all in and enjoy it. So I personally love that side of it. It was obviously great to drive the car again, just get out on track.
Oh, have we lost him again?
Oh, yeah, I think it's his signal.
Yeah.
As soon as he rejoins, we're getting back in here.
Yep. But for now, if you guys haven't entered the giveaway by donating, please do so. It's all for a really good cause that is literally affecting so many people. And I passionately think that we've got to make this stop as soon as we can, because the figures are just really not nice at all. So yeah, please do donate to help
Does
cancer
make all the
research.
difference.
I don't know why that left again. I don't know why it's doing it.
Yeah, it's probably just sketchy Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like-
I can't even blame Ireland, because usually the internet in Ireland is the problem. But
It's like I spotted you going around a few times while I was around the paddock looking at other cars. And you got everything there, 60s, 70s, 80s GT cars, rally cars that are pretty much the list of legendary cars you could ever want, which was awesome to see at Goodwood considering we weren't up on the rally stage. And then you've got F1 cars from literally every decade. If somebody said to you you could drive anything, Lord March turns around, or Duke of Richmond as he now is, turns around and says, you got a chance to drive anything. Would you still jump straight toward what I think you're going to say, which was the Escort Mark II? Or one of the Group B rally cars?
I know, personally, probably, to be honest. I know there's such, there's
You wouldn't be tempted by an aero ground effects, 80s F1 car.
I know, that's absolutely mental as well, for sure. But personally, just hello.
Yep.
You there? Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. I think my phone is locking or something. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, personally, it would be it'd be a Group B car because of my rallying background, my dad being involved in rallying, and my uncle, my two brothers, and I've been the only one so far who has not done anything with rallying. So personally, it would have to be on that route for sure. So either a Mark II or a Group B car.
I think you should do a YouTube video of what you can do with a pro drift car out of off season. You got a passenger seat, get a co-driver, some headsets.
Yeah. If there was some rallies on, I would seriously consider it. I'd love to do a hill climb or something like that.
Especially this year when there's not, that's the downside, isn't it? Not only is drifting not happening, but everything else isn't. When you could go and make some, cool YouTube content like that, and kind of prove how much grip a drift car actually has.
Especially with the right tyres and stuff. So
yeah.
I actually did get my hands on some of the Falcon Racing tyres, which are slick tyres. So we have an idea, once we can get access to Mondello Park or some other track, we have an idea of just seeing how fast that car can actually go, and just make a video on it. So hopefully we can make that happen, before the year is out, because I think it would be quite interesting to see what it'd be like with proper tyres.
Yeah, I think that'd surprise a lot of people, just how quick these cars actually are now.
Yeah, people definitely underestimate how fast they are. But when I say to people, oh, well, the LS3, that's out of, it's out of a Camaro, it's out of, these awesome American muscle cars. So okay, this is a serious bit of kit, and then you say, oh, well, it only weighs as much as however much it weighs, which is super light, and it's just a recipe for an absolute monster. And obviously the same with all the other cars, like the Supras, they're super fast, and then putting that in a lighter chassis is just going to make an absolute monster.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about BMW as well is it's kind of almost overbuilt for drifting, but it does have the big brakes. It has, the sequential box. It has 800 horsepower. So, on a racetrack with proper tyres, I think it would be very interesting to see how fast it actually is.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and
something different. What are the plans for you for next season and things like that? What are you thinking?
Well, I think at the minute we have Geomasters on the rear end of the PS13, but I think we might change over to Wisefab, which should in turn put more grip in the car. because we are running 15 psi on dry days at the minute. So hopefully we'll get that up a little bit, and then we can always lower it down to more grip. But to carry that all that grip, we're going to upgrade to about 600 horsepower. Keep it naturally aspirated for the moment, but then maybe either the year after probably go 900 with a little turbo, running on about 1 bar of boost, and that should sort us out for 900 horsepower and just whatever we need, really.
That's absolutely unreal. So yeah, you're definitely taking, you know, big steps in the right direction. And what's the dream? Is the dream to like try to make the Drift Masters? Or?
Well, the dream really, I'm sorry to say it, but it's to beat you really.
Yeah.
And just to try and get as high as I can in the ranks.
Now after this year.
But no, yes, like to go
Fine,
Drift
Joe.
Masters. We know, don't worry. Go like Drift Masters and FD, and just keep drifting. I don't think I'm ever not gonna love drifting, even if I'm just doing, you know, normal practice days or fun days. I think I'll always be drifting. But for now, my aim is to get as high as I can in professional championships.
Yeah. No, that's really cool, and I have absolutely no doubt of what you're capable of. And obviously, you're fully dedicated, and you've got some great support around you. So I think you know, sky's the limit, really. So I'm really excited to see how it goes, and looking forward to that day we get to battle on track for real.
Yeah, definitely. We came close in IDS, but I think probably let's say next year we should be getting some door-on-door action, which will be very, very cool.
Really looking forward to it, man. Really looking forward to it. And fair play as well for doing this. I think it's a absolutely, you know, incredible cause what you're doing, and I'll be sure to donate myself as well. And it's been a pleasure coming on and having a chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It's made the stream really cool and very much surprised me. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and yeah.
No worries. We'll catch up soon.
Definitely.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Catch you
Take
soon,
care.
James.
Thank you.
I think we've had the great.
Okay, here we go.
You know the saying, I paid to see this.
Delay on the stream from
There is, yeah. There's a delay from Discord to YouTube.
I'm trying to watch it and I'm crying. I can't see it right now.
You know the saying, I paid to see this. I literally did, and I'm glad I did.
No, Max, Maddie,
Everyone moans about paying for
I think you're going to have to take the other one off. Take it off. They've had
Yeah.
no shield.
I'm so
Right,
proud of you, Max.
that bold.
Take it off, dude. Come on, do it.
Yeah.
Bye.
boy. Hold off.
Look at
All
your
off,
sister,
okay.
she's dying to do it.
Yeah, she's loving it. She's loving it. She's loving it.
It's going.
Here we go.
Well, hold on 1 second. What number is he shaving on?
This
to?
is
That
one.
looks
This is
like
one now.
That should be like off clippers, like
Yeah.
completely.
it should be.
This is number one. It'll be number one.
Yeah. No.
That's not a 1. That's like an 8.
No, it's
Yeah,
a
it
one,
should
I
be
think.
zero.
Go and tell you now.
Wait,
That's
wait,
It's just
we
that
are the delay, so we don't
Just
know.
straight blade off and just go for it. It'll be quick.
Yeah, no, it's really, really short. No, this is.
Max, just go full.
No, there we go. There we go.
Oh, it's coming off.
Oh, it's
Oh,
going.
Jesus,
There's
Dave.
still a clip on there.
I almost can't. I almost feel uncomfortable, but I can't look
Just
away.
take the clipper off.
That
So
clipper
anyone-
is not particularly sharp, is
See,
it?
that's the problem. To be fair, we tried it recently with without the thing
I
on,
think
and
you may
it
need
just
to
doesn't
do
work.
this first.
No, it's coming off. It's coming off.
To anyone
It's just his
watching
hair's
this,
so thick. It's like shearing a sheep.
Oh, God.
to anyone watching the stream, keep donating. Don't start now.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we can't drive.
Keep doing
The
it.
drivers have been hobbled by. Oh my God, this is.
savage.
good now.
Yeah.
That was a big chunk.
It started as a joke and read it to hear.
It looks like a shovel would be more useful than that razor.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that razor does not look sharp.
No, it's not great.
On his face and pulling the hairs.
One by one.
Just get some scissors and cut it all off first. Get the WD-40
quicker.
Working
I
okay.
could just take all his clip.
But should we just leave it like that?
Yeah, just leave him as he is. Stick a Beyblade on his head and rip the cord.
Oh god.
Definitely.
I don't even feel a bit bad now. I don't know. I start wanting to.
Ah,
Now
no.
I feel a bit.
I'd said
No.
that. Is this entertainment or is it borderline cruelty?
No, this is. You can tell this is revenge. His sister's getting revenge here now.
She's loving it.
Get
I mean,
the
we've all
scissors,
made
cut
this
the most
happen.
off it with that first.
Yeah, that would be the easiest way.
There's not a lot of hair coming
Max,
out.
you might need a smaller helmet now.
Acting away at it. I've seen people. I mean, yeah, I feel a bit bad.
Keep donating, though.
Keep going.
Keep donating.
He'll have to pack
I
his
think this
helmet
is
out with a
child
wig.
abuse, but on the upside it's weight reduction, so...
Weight reduction.
Aerodynamic purposes.
Get that grader off that cutter.
We'll have to get him in the wind tunnel next week.
I think it'd be better without
His
his top on.
hair is so thick.
Look at his
At least he doesn't have to worry about his fringe getting in the way.
Keep going.
He's definitely going to have to wear something under that helmet because he's not going to have a scalp.
Look at it.
She's got a shorter one.
He's just in himself.
Besides, he's got to wear that fireproof balaclava.
I don't know how anybody's drifting. I can't watch anything else. I'm not.
I'm not.
No, nobody is at the minute. Everybody's just watching this. We'll change track.
Is the lever right,
I'm
Maddie?
actually waiting for a car, but no, change tracks, that'll be good.
Now there's 2 cars going around the circuit.
If
Moment.
just I'm still going round.
Can we get a GG in the live stream for Max for actually going through with this, or like fair play or something?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh, come on.
It's not just having his hair shaved. He's having it shaved with a blunt razor. How cool is that? Yeah, some scissors.
He's not enjoying that, is he?
Here we are.
No, it's not. No.
No. David, are you? Because I am.
No,
I am, yeah, I'm loving it. It's not my head that's getting shaved with blunt razors.
Take the blade off, or take the cover off.
Tell you what, I know you
Yeah.
guys aren't far
Cover.
from me. I could
And
probably
I
be
don't-
there by the time
He
you
needs
get
a
through
better
this.
angle on the hair.
He's on scissors now.
Oh.
Yeah, just cut all the length off it and then go
Yeah,
over it with a
cut all the length off. That's
Oh, he's doing it himself.
the advice from
Like curly horns on his head.
the advice
Everyone on the
from
live stream. It's not like we could practice this, so it's not going to go off like a hitch like we hoped it was, but we get there.
With blunt scissors as well then.
Is everything blunt?
no, it's his hair. His hair is like must be like wire, I think.
It's just going to be that he's left with a really bad haircut. Which is even worse.
He's going to be late to school tomorrow. He's going to have to go via the barber to get it tidied up.
Chris Drift.
Oh, look at
scissors
that!
for the win.
That looks good. I love it.
It
Would be interesting if he was told that non-essential services were not in his area.
Barbers are closed.
He doesn't have to worry for like 3 months now.
Well, I've had to
Yeah,
shave my
exactly.
own head this morning because I was going to go to the barber's next week.
That's what I'm doing tomorrow morning.
You don't need to. Yo, come here. Maddie will do it for you with our blood
Yeah,
razors.
let's do it, man.
I can think of nothing worse.
He looks terrified.
He does.
You would be.
Wouldn't you be terrified if your sister was cutting your hair off?
Can he see himself yet?
With
Does
2
he know what he looks
spoons,
like?
apparently.
With spoons.
There you go. Try this shaver
Looks
now.
like he's got a ramp for a hot
Did
mist
anybody
now.
think about, putting the hairs in a bag or something? You're just throwing it
I
on
think
the
they
floor?
have a.
No, no,
I
we-
think they have a towel on the floor.
Yeah, yeah,
Was that not-
we've got
Oh,
that
no,
sorted.
maybe that's the next giveaway.
Max's hair. The next giveaway, Max's hair.
Max Cotton.
Keep
championship leading.
keep donating, people. I can see the numbers going up.
I'm gonna make a wig for Chris out of Max's hair.
A wig for Chris Drift.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got one in his mouth.
Oh, have you got one in your mouth?
Doesn't look so bad from the side.
It's when he tilts his head down and he has a really short bit in the middle and then longer bits
It looks like Luke Barker now.
Looks like Luke Barker.
Oh, here it goes.
This is from Richard and Jill. The hair coming off has made it so that you deserve us to add £70 and make our total donation to £100.
Oh
Brilliant.
my God, that is amazing.
Maddie,
Thank you,
Maddie
Richard and
looks
Jill.
Maddie looks like she's enjoying it way too much. Love, Richard and Jill.
Because your hair's coming off, Richard and Jill have donated an extra £70, taking their total donation now to £100 because you're having your hair cut off. So this is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. What an amazing day.
What I think a bit of peer pressure can do. And then, you know, raising some money and then, you know,
Technically, we're also saving his dad money.
Yeah, absolutely. There is that. Saving me money. And he usually, you know, when I go and have my haircut, it's usually, I usually pay like £5. When Max goes and has his haircut, it's like 25. Because he goes to the posh hairdressers where they love him, wash his hair and...
I don't know if you heard earlier, Dean.
Did he get charged the girls?
He gets charged the girls thing. No, he goes to a girl's hairdresser.
So you were saying earlier that that one of your daughters can print T-shirts, right?
Yeah, Maddie was shaving his hair.
Yeah.
She's the T-shirt
We need a picture of Max with his shaved head and a championship-winning T-shirt for Team Eggheads for Buxton.
No, he's got to win
can we have that, please? I'd wear that too.
Yeah, man. He's got to win the championship first. So
we can get them ready so that when he wins, we've all got them in a team photo.
Right. So, Maddie, they want you to make a T-shirt with Max's hair like that. Championship winner T-shirt, so everybody can wear them. Yeah,
I'll even wear one for when he beats me.
They just have it under your race suit so you can just unzip it when you get out.
When me and Max are sat on the line waiting for the result of our battle and he wins, I'll get out the car and unzip me suit so you can just see my T-shirt.
Max, David Goldstraw said he'll wear a Max T-shirt underneath his race suit for when you beat him at Buxton.
Get rid of the blade off the clippers and it'll just straight through the rest.
That's going to go really short.
Yeah, through the rest of his skin.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, or a waxing strip.
It's beginning to look like the Max warn you from the beginning.
Just leave it like that.
It comes off quite... just leave it like that.
10 years off of him.
Leave it like that.
Reminds me of young John Lydon.
Well,
how far are you from like a supermarket where you can go buy another set of clippers?
Yeah.
Barely clear by.
I'm telling you, I can be there with mine before you get this finished.
Go on, Bryn. Get on your bike, mate.
Look, I think what we could do, guys, is let's leave it like that. And then
you donate another grand and we'll finish it off.
We'll finish it off later.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are watching. I can't see.
94, 94, 95 now.
95 watching.
We need to keep it going.
We'll keep going. This is good.
Get rid of the little blade off the razor and just straight through it all.
All day, so we need to.
Yeah, we're getting a break from drifting, and you know,
we're taking into haircut. Makes sense.
Let me.
I literally could not have
I
timed
think
this.
she needed to have just added a little bit of moisture and good straight comb.
I think she deserves an NX5.
I think even she's not enjoying this anymore.
She's only looking concerned.
Let's just say Max is going to hate me from now on.
I saw the effort face on her a minute ago. The only time I've ever seen a human like put an actual effort into getting clippers through hair, that's when I got worried.
Whoa, but yeah, look at the effort he's putting in.
Does look like there's oil on them or something.
Chris.
Hello.
There you go. Cool.
Oh, Max.
We've all stopped drifting for a minute just to watch Max having his haircut.
Oh, that is funny. That is funny.
Yeah, he's just super cool guy. I've battled him at Battle Royale where he beat me. And then I went up against him in IDS. That's the series that Power Red runs that we were just talking to. And And yeah, he accidentally drove into the back of me and debuckled my wheel a bit. But he's a super good driver. He has an awesome Mustang and 180SX, which looks super cool.
Did David just join while you were complaining about him running into you?
No.
I actually did.
Is that someone else hunting you down like Martin Wonnacott?
No. Right. Anyway.
If you weren't on stream earlier, David, his sister won the Martin Wonnacott merch after Max was complaining that people wouldn't want to support Martin Wonnacott.
Well, there you go. It all worked out.
Yeah, I suppose I got my karma. But yeah, anyway, Dave, introduce yourself to everyone watching.
Well, my name is Dave Egan, and I am sort of somewhere between a driver, an organizer, a drift judge, and a YouTuber. So basically, I'm the combination of 4 no jobs, making it into 1 job.
Yes.
Swiss Army knife of drifting.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'm also really bad at drifting online.
But yeah, I understand. So you were running a championship last year, was that right, or the year before? And now I've decided to go fully into comp, and yeah, try a look at that.
Yeah, so I started off long time ago. Before you were born, Max, not really, but a long time ago.
2005.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
2000 and something, and I was the commentator for the Irish Drift Championship. Then I took over the Irish Drift Championship, and then jumped over to run the British Drift Championship, and then from there ran the Emirates Drift Championship and the Saudi Arabian Drift Championship, and currently I'm vice president of Drift Masters, which is the European Championship.
That's a lot of championships.
Yeah, it's been a pretty hectic couple of years, and we've basically now at the moment we obviously have a little bit of a lull in obviously events going on, and now we're trying to do a little bit more of the competitive driving stuff, a little bit more online YouTube stuff, and try and try our hand at that. It's kind of, we've done everything else, so this is like our last little piece to do, is try and conquer the actual on-track stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like your commentating is so exciting to listen to, but also watching your YouTube videos, understand you've made a very, I'm gonna say the coolest rig I've ever seen for drifting. So how's that going? Is it working well?
It works actually really well, and it only really works because we obviously built it just for me to use, and I'm on it right now. But it was something interesting. It actually only so happened that we were. I like to look at like Marketplace on Facebook and stuff, you know, like everyone does, and come up with silly ideas. And this guy was selling this Battle Gear 4 and D1GP arcade machines. They were like in a farm shed, and he just wanted rid of them. So I sent Mikey down one of the days, and he was supposed to go down and grab one. He ended up coming back with 3, and we said, wouldn't it be? And I mean, it was really cheap. It was like €400 for the 3 machines. Now they didn't work, and they were a bit battered and stuff, but. We said, what if we put all like the new Fanatec gear into one of those? It would be a really like retro looking but modern working simulator, and at the moment I am currently on that, and it actually works really well. We worked with the guys in Fanatec to come up with kind of the specs we wanted, and it's really good. I'm not really good, I definitely need more practice, but the machine is really good. Like, it works really well, and I'm using the Fanatec DD2, so it's like if you get the settings wrong, it can kind of spin you out the window. But getting used to it, and I suppose it's the most amount of driving we're going to get in the short term, so it's good to keep your hand-eye coordination fresh, and even things like this, you know, socially being able to talk to other drifters and have a good conversation and almost pretend that it's still all as normal, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does bring a bit of normality to everything going on right now. But yeah, lots of people say different things when I ask them this, but how do you find the, like, sort of transitioning from simulator to real drifting and then back to simulator? Have you think that it helps you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was really funny actually, because there's a group of guys in Ireland, and we have like a Discord, and we jump on and we actually get the tracks before the first round and the only round of IDS, and we would spend a couple of nights just, you know, twin battling. And it turned out that in my top 16 battle of IDS, I actually ended up battling Alan Delaney, who I was on the sim with for 3 days. So it was really funny, and it does actually really translate well. I think obviously the better the setup you have, if you've got something, you know, direct drive like a Fanatec or whatever, and you get the settings right, it's a really good way of learning how to drift. And I think it's also an inexpensive way of trying, crazy stuff without having a massive consequence.
Definitely.
Although I seem to do that in real life as well. So
yeah, I saw with the high speed things that you do, like that's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the one good thing about it is I think it makes you a much more comfortable drifter, especially in close proximity because you're used to it on the sim.
Yeah, I might try my hand at that now, try and get on your door a little bit.
And I think one of the worst things about it is that you actually go into the real car thinking it's a bit like the sim, which is what I did and why I crashed into you.
Yeah, it does have its differences, definitely.
It's good fun though, and as I said, I'm delighted to come on and have a chat and have a drift, and I think it's a really, really cool cause, and what you're doing today is really commendable. I think it's really good for a young person in the sport to be doing something so positive, so fair play.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Max.
It's fine. But yeah, there is obviously, you're always going to make mistakes when you're driving, and the sim also is great for making mistakes, which sounds weird, but if you do make that mistake, you can click one button and have a car that works fine. Whereas in real life,
Exactly.
you can come off, you can hurt yourself or the car, but it has its benefits and it also has its downfalls. But yeah, how are you finding going into comp then? Do you think you sort of have sort of got it what it takes to be drift masters and all that sort of stuff and just take it all the way and
I mean, I don't
beat James Deane?
From a driving perspective, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's very hard to say how good someone is or bad someone is unless they're in the situation, and I think there's a lot of drivers that have great potential and they might not show it on track due to bad luck or nerves or not being able to translate results one round to the next. The one good thing I have is I've been around this sport for 10 years, so I have a fair understanding of how it works. Translating that back into my driving, I haven't done a whole lot of driving competitively over the last 10 years, so I think the most I've done is the last, say, 12 months. And, I'm happy enough. I think the progress is being made, and definitely want to be a bit more aggressive. I think I was probably too aggressive in my events recently.
A little bit.
Yeah, trying to be, an exciting driver, being someone that, especially coming from a commentary perspective, you always want a driver to be exciting, to give you something to talk about. So
100%.
It'd be hard for me to jump into the seat and go, I don't want to, add a bit of flair or add a bit of aggression, because that's what I know the commentary team want. That's what the series wants. It's kind of essentially what the fans want. So
definitely.
I don't know if I'm good enough in terms of quality, but I'll definitely be trying to be as entertaining as possible. That was my big goal,
Yeah, I definitely want to see you and James have a battle. I think that would be super, super interesting. And also, we need to have another battle because you've won one and I've won one, so I think we need to have the tiebreaker.
I had a battle with you when you were in an E30. I think it's not going to be anywhere like that again. And yeah, look, we went out to battle, and obviously I have a lot of respect for you as a driver. I knew how good you were driving all year, and I think I probably just pushed my abilities beyond what I was capable of, and I went a little too aggressive. But I wasn't even that annoyed about it. I mean, I would rather hit someone and go out rather than say be 4 or 5 car lengths behind. And I think you have much more regret when you don't give it a go than if you try and give it a go and it doesn't work out.
I mean, the first time I ever went crazy and just went fully aggressive and threw it onto someone's door was at Buxton against you. And I remember I did that transition through the middle of the track and was transitioned onto your door, and I was like, oh my god, I'm doing this, it's BDC, and I'm going against Dave Egan, and I was so surprised that I was even near you. Like, it was such an eye-opening moment for me to think. It actually boosted my confidence quite a lot, even though I lost the battle. But driving against you was just such an amazing experience, and definitely want to have that again.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably as nervous as you were, Max. I mean, I hadn't done a whole lot of driving for a couple of years, and I think a lot of people think I've done a lot more than I have.
Yeah.
I think like last year was my first year in the pro class, say in the British Drift Championship. My first pro battles were last year. This year was my first time ever in Ireland being in a pro class, or even a considered pro class.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though I've been around the sport for quite some time, I've done a lot of different, activations and a lot of different championships and a lot of organizing and judging. I actually haven't driven as much as I would have liked to. So that's kind of my next goal now is to, I think it's always the question you have when you're involved in the sport is, do you have what it takes? And I don't know. I could just be awful, but I think it'll be I definitely want to find out.
I think you've definitely got what it takes, and I think you versus James would be a priceless battle to watch.
Well, I've always wanted to battle James just because I think a battle against James, like Josh had a battle against James at round 1.
Yeah.
And it's like the ultimate battle, because if you win, you're remembered forever, and if you lose, nobody gives you any criticism. So it's like an easy battle.
Yeah, definitely, apart from the fact that I really, really want to go against James. I mean, we nearly went against him in Ireland because I managed to get up near the top. But unfortunately, James had that little issue getting into gear. But yeah, definitely sometime soon. Fortunately for me now, I am with the sort of championships that have James in them. And now in Drift King in Germany next year. Maybe might get him, or in Irish Drift Series, maybe get him there. So it'll be such an experience.
I mean, I think that's the thing. I think everybody who goes against James, just crashing into the walls here. Everybody who goes against James, you know, it's not in any sport. Let's be honest. No matter what sport it is, you're not going to get a chance very often to go against the best in the world. So
never.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're a footballer or a boxer or a golfer, you know, you're not going to turn up and just get, you know, a round in with Tiger Woods. So that's the amazing thing about James. He's so humble that he will, you know, jump back to his national series, you know, jump into different events, and you know, he's definitely pound for pound the best driver in the world. So you can get a battle against him, and even if, you know, you don't win, or he still takes the win, which he would be expected to, it's a great experience to say, well, look, if I was in the fight against the best in the world, I shouldn't be too afraid of anyone else.
Definitely.
Or you can do what Josh did and just absolutely torpedo him and crash into him, and then that's, you know, that's embarrassing for everybody.
That's another way to do it. That's definitely one way to do it.
I mean, he's given everyone a new talking point.
It's
well,
true.
I think that's all he did. But I think the thing is, Josh has the very same mentality as me, is that, you know, the last thing you want to be is, you know, forgotten in a battle and you didn't give it a fight, or you didn't, you know, make anyone's, you know, eyebrows raise. And I think he just felt halfway through that run he had to do something, and he crashed into him, which again is not recommended, but he definitely didn't want to finish the battle as if he was just making up the numbers. So I think it was commendable.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, putting up a fight is what they say in the driver's briefing. It's like put up a good battle, and like I don't like going out sort of if leaving car lengths is just like, it's the worst thing I want to do. I'd rather, as you were saying, crash into someone maybe. Then
there's nothing worse than, you know, being 3 or 4 car lengths back. You know you're losing the battle. You know you're just making up the numbers, and it's a really disheartening feeling. Where I think if you're making dives and you're jumping in, one, even if you don't win, you've got some cool highlight reel stuff, and then if you do actually get the win, you've risked it. So I think, you know, a lot of drivers, I think, play a little too safe sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think it's the way drifting has progressed in the last number of years. I mean, I remember back, you know, 7-8 years ago, if there was a dive onto the door in a whole top 16, people were talking about it. Now you're expected to do that in every single battle, that you need to be on the door. So it's a much more exciting sport to watch now, but also much harsher on the drivers, because if you're not on it, you're going home very early, even if you're a good driver.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, you've always got to take that risk, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Like, I remember going into my second qualifying run at Three Sisters BDC. I was like, okay, I've done my first run, and now it's time to take the risk. And I took the risk and it paid off. I got, I think, 98 points in qualifying, which was felt great. But I know that I was going into that first corner like, I hope this works, and taking that risk. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't, but you're remembered for it.
Well, I think the more risks you take, the more comfortable you feel being in that situation. So, you know, that's, I think, probably what makes some of the top drivers so good, is that they're in such close quarters and on the edge so much that being on the edge actually becomes normal. And when it's normal, you don't freak out and you can handle the situation. So I think the more risks you take, the more you learn, rather than just, I think at this stage, you kind of accept any driver to be able to get around the course.
Yeah.
If they're there. So I think what separates, you know, being a good driver and a great driver is how much risk you're willing to take, and if you're comfortable being that on the edge. So I think the more on the edge you are, the better you'll be. That's kind of how I've looked at it for the last year.
Yeah, it's all calculated risk.
Yeah, or uncalculated risk, like I do sometimes, and just hope it all works out, and it doesn't, and you just go, what have I done there? But I mean, you learn from it. You know, you learn from it, and as I said, it was a learning experience for me. You know, the last 2 years of how much aggression, how much, you know, balance. You need not to be overly aggressive against drivers that are a little bit sketchy, and then against good guys, you just got to throw the kitchen sink at them. So
Definitely.
again, I'm still learning like everybody else, even though I'm quite a while in the sport. I'm still learning behind the wheel, and I think we learned enough this year that we've got a very big project coming in November that's totally different, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to whatever you've got brewing. I think the sport is definitely going to take a big step next year. I know this year's been a bit sketchy for everyone, but definitely it's given people time to go, I've got an idea, and I think now's the time to put it into action.
I think that's exactly it. I mean, there's two ways as a drifter to approach 2020. It's, obviously we've had a lot of events cancelled and postponed, but if you look at it as, a negative, you'll sit there and be quite, disheartened by everything. Or if you take it as a positive, you actually have a little bit of time to really assess what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and you've got a bit of time to prepare it. So I think a big part of it is that, being positive, if you want to rebuild your car, or you want to build something new, or you want to, work on your brand, or work on your online stuff, or work on your gaming, there's never been a better time to do it. And I think, people really sink or swim about how they approach 2020 when we get back online in 2021.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be such a cool year next year, and hopefully we'll get to battle very, very soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I can let you in on a secret that it might not be in something that you've seen before, but we'll leave that for November 15th.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for something new, and anything you're organising, I'm sure, will be amazing. But yeah, thank you for coming on and talking to us. It's really livened up the stream. I think we're about halfway through. Oh god. Yeah, halfway through.
5 hours left. 6
It's
hours.
a long day.
Hours.
Oh god.
Oh, it's a really long day.
And I really commend you guys doing it. I mean, you're putting in great work, and it's for an amazing cause. I think, cancer has affected anybody in around the world in some way, shape, or form. So this is a great positive way of raising awareness and raising some money, and you guys are killing it today. So fair play.
Definitely. Thank you so much. But yeah, we will definitely battle very soon, and I can't wait to hear the news that's coming out.